Hey, bro, don't forget, it ain't the first 48, bro. It's 60 minutes, bro.
We heard a whole lot of lip service, but hey, anybody can do that. But between them lines,
come with the kid, you best not miss. Even the score now, we need to score now. Back on that wall, when you hear that call, you know it's going down. We play from beginning to ending, you know how we finish. Turn to the bank, gotta handle our business. We need the ball, so it's time to go get it. Play with your heart when you hit, make like, who you with? You know I'm with. You come to the bank and get out of line, we sending a blitz. Say who you with? You know I'm with. That purple and black, and when we attack, you know what it is.
You're now locked in Zone 32.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Zone 32 podcast. We got a full crew and then some tonight. My name is Jake. His name is Drew. His name is Will. His name is BT, aka Brandon. His name is Trippy. His name is motherfucking Grant. And introducing our special guest. Y'all might know him from his time in TNA, in the indie circuit, in NXT and SmackDown. And currently, it's going to be wrestling. I forget the promotion you're wrestling for on Saturday, but you're wrestling on Saturday. You might have known him back in the day as Cameron Grimes, but you might know him better as Trevor Lee. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, guys, man? Thanks for having me on here.
My man. There you
what's
go.
up,
Before we get into the game review, our man Drew has prepared a speech because he needs to address a few things.
I wrote a whole speech. I'm going to take the sunglasses off. This is a very, very serious topic here. What are you laughing at, Grant? Bad things happened. I have to own it, take accountability. All right, so I've spent a lot of time over the last 48 hours reflecting on my actions on X/Twitter after the Ravens-Commanders game. I want to start this off by acknowledging a tweet from 2 days ago is being taken out of context by individuals, the kid Gowie and people who don't like me, harbor feelings of personal resentment towards me. I am by no means a therapist. I should probably seek some kind of help being that obsessed with me. Seeing them tweet to push a narrative that's completely untrue so that they can cover up their own shortcomings and being unentertaining. Rather than putting the effort into their own content, they try to belittle me and put me below them. If anybody's taking the time to get to know me, watch the podcast, read any of my tweets, they know that I don't have a mean bone in my body. I refuse to allow these people to paint me as something I'm not. Truth is that, Twitter kind of needs somebody like me so that they can point their fingers and be like, oh, that tweet's not funny. Reality is, you can try to make jokes all you want, but they don't work. All right, so I guess this has just been really to get to the point that I want to take a moment to apologize to fucking nobody. Stop being so fucking soft on Twitter. I didn't ask Sean Taylor to bring Machete to a gunfight and lose. It was a fucking joke. It happened 17 years ago. Move the fuck on and stop acting like fucking children. All right, rant done. How long do you think anybody took?
0 seconds.
I mean,
I don't ever take you serious. So
yeah, you put some less. No, I mean I've said a lot of dumb shit before. I don't think I deserved a third of them. I mean, I've said worse. I've called people retarded. I've called people all kinds of horrible names on this podcast. Nobody fucking cares. But all of a sudden, I make one joke about Sean Taylor losing to a pistol. Everybody loses their fucking mind. Not to mention the kid that Spencer tweeted out was wearing socks and sandals to a professional sporting event. So he deserved horrible things being said about him anyway. But yeah.
Who the fuck wears socks with sandals, though? That's nasty work.
Same people who wear Sean Taylor.
Birkenstocks, too.
Yeah.
Lesbian sandals.
That was.
Hey, wait. But slides are a pass, though. Socks and slides are a pass, though.
That's to a Ravens game. That's psycho behavior.
Not to
Ravens game.
No, too much beer gets
crazy.
And this comment definitely is something. Drew's not racist. He's just from Boston. Very much so different. Big difference.
I mean, Boston invented America. I don't know why you guys are such fucking horrible people. Hate it so much. The reality is you have my kid trying to quote tweet me like days later to start problems. Nobody fucking cares. I will say worse things. I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is not new behavior from me. Yep. The amount of people who have like messaged me and tweeted me like that they're gonna come find me, like please feel free. I won't machete to a gunfight if you show up to my house though. So like let's get that one real clear. Yeah, I don't know. I have some goons being like, oh, we're gonna find you. You don't even know what state I'm in. That's how dumb these people are. And then you get the whole, oh, we don't claim him. I don't claim you guys either. So leave me the fuck alone. don't play these games on the internet trying to get sad over tweets. And people who like were actually offended by that, like it was 17 years ago. The amount of 9/11 jokes that I see on my timeline,
Right.
like I feel like you can, throw a Sean Taylor joke out there.
I see that hilarious 9/11 meme, like, I don't know, 3 times a week. The one where it's the Twin Towers and it's pasta sauce coming out and noodles and so and it's like
what is
texted to somebody and it says like thousands of people died and then they responded Mamma Mia. That's a funny fucking meme. You can make 9/11 jokes, okay? You deal with tragedy with humor. It's a coping mechanism. Everybody does it. If you get offended, go be offended somewhere else. Drew's allowed to say whatever the fuck he wants.
You can put.
They make jokes at funerals.
What do you say?
You can put Chris Smith's comment back on the screen because I'm going to pull up on him on Thanksgiving weekend. So we can address this problem. Chris Smith is not a real person. I'm not going to say his real name on air, but yeah.
We got to see a Michigan fan.
He may or may not have been. So I'll pull up at any point.
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on because there was a game that happened on Sunday.
Hold on.
You want to allude? Okay.
Well, no. The spirit of the episode is apologize. I feel like we've kind of ran over our guest here, who we brought on to apologize for stealing from Will. So, floor's yours.
No, it's a coincidence that we both bought tickets in the same section, and we both paid $73,510 for the tickets.
Yeah, a complete coincidence. I actually bought and resold mine, so it's not that big of a deal.
How much did you spend $73,000 on AFC Chip game tickets too, or is this your first time spending?
Yeah, this was the most expensive game since that AFC Championship. Because I went to that last year against the Chiefs. What a heartbreak. It was kind of funny because the last 3 games I had went to at the bank was against the Steelers at the end of the season last year, then the AFC Championship, and then against the Raiders. So I was starting to believe that I was becoming a jinx on the team. So I was very happy to be there last week and actually be able to witness a win again live.
Yeah, I don't like those numbers. You're gonna need to continue that
was pretty bad.
or you will be banned from the building.
Yeah, I don't even want to tell you about last year's streak. It was bad.
The way how the Ravens going, Cole Jackson can't come to no Raven games. Stay his ass where he at.
Nope,
right.
He cannot. Yeah. Canadians are not welcome.
Right about that. Hey, Trevor, question. You have a thick Southern accent of some sort. I think North Carolina, right?
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
How did you become a Ravens fan?
So see, being from North Carolina, I grew up a Tar Heels fan. And when I was in elementary school, that was the year J.J. Redick just absolutely beat the shit out of the Tar Heels. And I remember just crying on my couch as a little child. And I gave up sports. I said, I'm done with sports. I'm not going to go to school and get picked on for losing for stuff that I can't even control. So I was done with it. And then, I focused only on wrestling, and then I pursued a career in doing that. But then as I became, like a teenager and adult, I met a friend. His name's Robert Walsh. He's actually a producer for the sports radio station in Nashville. I think 104.5 Drive maybe is what it is. But they mostly cover the Titans. And at the time, he was going to ECU, and he absolutely loved the Ravens and was going to college for sports broadcasting. So we would be like in Discord every day, just playing video games, and he would be constantly telling me about the Ravens and what was going on. So it was right around the time that, we got Lamar, and he was telling me about Lamar, and I was like, holy crap, man, this guy's fucking awesome. So then, I started watching the games with him, and just over time, just fell in love with the Ravens, and then, started going to games, and then now I'm fully in. I'm back on sports, and really just back on the Ravens. Really.
Have you picked the Tar Heels back up? Or
no, I haven't really got back into basketball yet. There's so much more to keep up with. So many more games.
So Greg is the one with the brick wall background is a diehard.
It's understandable for sure.
Yeah, I don't have misery and heartbreak every year, but I've been trying to.
Yeah, what I could do is I could just pick a different team in every sport and just ride it that way too, where I could just be loyal to a university. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you'd be loyal.
Yeah,
to North
that's
Carolina.
just you.
They're not loyal. They just gave up another touchdown to Jason, by the way. I don't know if you're watching.
They probably did. They're up to 90.
Yeah, they scored like 140 points on them in the last 10 minutes. So,
Yeah. So Trevor, when you posted that that edited receipt of mine, did you realize that the reason I posted that, I don't even know where you saw it, but that when I posted it on Friday night, I think it was like a social experiment because I posted that exact screenshot and tweet before the AFC Championship game, and it went like mega viral, and there were fucking articles and shit written about it. So I just changed the name of the team and the date and posted it again, and it went off again. So I'm just wondering, did you know that it was that you were reposting? It wasn't even fake the first time, but the one you posted was fake.
Yeah, so I saw it on my For You page. I saw this one. I didn't see the original one. I just saw this one. And my character when I was in WWE was, I was like this like redneck millionaire that like hit big on like meme coins and stock market. So basically, it was very realistic for my character to like spend that much on something like that. And typically when my fan base is more of like a wrestling fan base, I really haven't got into like the football crowd yet. So when it blew up for me, it blew up on the wrestling crowd and them seeing it and being like, oh, this might actually be believable because of the story of me, hitting big on GameStop and stuff like that. So when you called me out on it, I mean, I have to say, yeah, I mean, obviously I stole it from somewhere. I mean, obviously it's a joke, right? So I mean, I wasn't going to like try to take credit for it, but yeah, it was definitely it was definitely great.
I'm not a wrestling fan. I didn't know who you were until Sunday, and my buddy who's a wrestling fan just happens to be a Commanders fan. He came over to watch the game with us, and he was like, "Oh, there's like a wrestler who's posting your picture," and I was like, "Oh, is he posting it like, haha, this is funny?" He's like, "No, he's posting it like it's his." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna fucking end this guy on the internet." And then you were actually cool about it. So,
yeah, right. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. That was my gimmick. So like, it was very believable that I could have been that silly to spend that much money on a ticket like that.
Right.
Like if you see a lot of the replies and stuff, they're like, "Man, this guy really did do big," and something like it's just silly shit. Yeah,
I was getting replies like that this time and the time before. The most common reply was, "They better let you call some plays," or like, "They better keep you 5 carries." Like, okay, like you really find out how stupid and uncreative people are when you have something like that out there and you're seeing everything people are saying. It's like, how many fucking times can different people make the same joke? Do they not look and see that joke's just been made 65 times in the last 5 minutes? It is really entertaining when that happens. But it was very coincidental that I even saw.
Right.
I say my favorite part is people will get mad at you. It's like, why are you spending that much money on a ticket?
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
oh, the story that I gave when it went viral the first time was I claimed I hit a parlay for 75 grand, and I was investing the money into the podcast. Like, so it was like a marketing, and for whatever reason, Fox 45 did not do any fact checking on that, and they just ran it.
That's so funny.
That is great.
Well, were any of you at the game this past week?
Trippy was. Trippy goes to every game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Trippy's number one. Big, Todd Monken. Trippy, did you have a talk with Todd before the game?
No, I was late. No, I was running late. But I saw him after the game, though.
Yeah, so you talked to Roe before. Did you give any motivating speeches to Marcus Williams? Because that didn't bring that.
No, I ain't. No, he be on his little fly shit. He don't be trying to hit nobody. But I told you I'm gonna give him the November 3rd though. But what I was ready to say though, I gave Zach all a little speech. Then he came back out and said, "Yeah, man, tell the flop, let up me a little bit. We still working." And he was going ham in the comments.
I can. So what? I'm not going to be too hard on Zach or yet. He's in his grace period. His veteran players need to fucking pick up the slack though.
Sending a 0 blitz on 4th and 12 is a Dean Pease move. And when you hire Dean Pease as a special coordinator, right before the game, and then you do some dumb shit like that, like that's what's going to make me lose my mind.
Yep.
So I would rather Zach or not things like that. In terms of the actual game though, it kind of went how we. The Commanders scored a little bit. We have a pretty weak secondary overall. And, there was the play where McLaurin got behind Marcus Williams. There was the play where Brandon Williams forgot to turn his head around for the 40 millionth time. And, they put up some points there. Or Stevens, yeah, whatever. Brandon Williams, Jesus. You called Marcus paperweight, and this has been on my mind all week. Because that was your insult towards Brandon Williams for like 2 years running.
Hold on, I need to clarify something. There's a comment from Max on the screen. Trippy is partially responsible. I was walking around my kid's soccer game telling all the dads if they could get odds on a Yannick sack to take it. So I'm taking some credit for Yannick's performance.
Producer Max coming in clutch here with being live in the comments.
This is Max's first time watching the podcast live.
It's because we have a wrestler on. Because we have a wrestler.
He's produced every episode. He listens to all the dumb shit we say on and off air. First time he tunes in live because we have a wrestler here.
And he's going to re-listen to it later on.
Yeah, he's just going to have it on loop. He's actually screen recording it right now, I'm sure. And then, again, just to Derrick Henry is really fucking good. I don't, not really much else to say there. It was nice to see Mark Andrews get a Drew confuses Brandon when drinking. No, I do that all the time. It's not an alcohol, Max. Mark Andrews getting touchdown passes great. Mark Andrews causing the second turnover of the year for Lamar, not great. But
second interception. He did have
second interception. Well, I'll let that slide. Whatever, shit happens. Bateman had a really good game. I don't know how much more I want to say about that because I like still making fun of him on the internet. It seems to motivate him. One of these days he's probably going to dunk on me online, but I'm okay with that if he keeps putting up games like this.
In your defense, bullying works.
That's right. 100%. Fuck Stan Marsh. Bullying is cool.
This took 2 years of my time of making fun of him, but it finally fucking worked out. So yeah, Falele even looks better after our. He's not great, but he seems to be serviceable. I don't love the Macari over Voorhees, but I guess not broke, don't fix it. And yeah, fuck Marcus Williams. I've said that already, but fuck Marcus Williams. Oh yeah, and Zay's a legitimate wide receiver. So anybody who was questioning that can go fuck him. But
So yeah, I think the defense could have looked better if Mark Andrews didn't hand the ball to the Commanders on our first drive. It would have looked even better because we would have scored on that drive. We were fucking just marching down the field, and then the Commanders were already in scoring position at the end of that return. So that sequence right there was basically didn't they score? Did they kick
they kicked the field goal?
Yeah, so that was a 10-point swing. And then the next drive down, I believe the second drive was the one where Linderbaum fucked up that third down snap, shotgun snap.
Rolled it.
Yeah, so I mean, we really should have been up 14-0 when we ended up 3-3.
Yep.
Yes, but I mean, again, credit to us. We said it for the first 3 weeks, shit didn't go right, but we just kind of stuck with the game plan. Didn't try to do any dumb shit on offense. Stuck with the play action pass, stuck with the run, and ended up winning. That's shit that would derail the Ravens earlier in the year.
Closed the game. You closed it out, right? It was a 7-point game in the box score, but I was at no point in the game did I feel stressed. At no point. I was confident.
A couple points where I was irritated, where I was
but I wasn't stressed that something was going to happen and the momentum was going to shift. I am confident now. After the first couple of weeks, it felt like there was no safe lead, and we felt that in the past. But now, the past 4 games, they understand how to execute late in the game. I guess actually I would say after the Dallas game where they gave up all those points in the fourth quarter, not great, but it just seems like Todd Monken has figured out how to close a game as a play caller.
Up 10, sending the house on.
Damn, Aaron Judge just hit a home run.
I hate it so much.
Fuck Garrett.
But no, I think that game went exactly how it should have, and I think that Monken called a great game with creating mismatches. They found the guy to pick on with St. Juste, so they attacked him pretty much at will, whether it was sending somebody in motion to single a one-on-one situation I think that's winning football. And Lamar's been able to utilize more of the play action this year because of Derrick Henry. So Lamar can throw from the pocket, he can throw outside the pocket, he can play action, he can run, he can do everything. But when you're more or less dimensional, whether it's the offensive line not giving the protection that he needs, which they've been playing better lately, or you don't have a running back that's a threat like a Derrick Henry, you kind of handicap some of those strengths that Lamar has. But now that he's got the full kind of repertoire, like you can see what he can do, and he's performing better this year than he did last year.
All right. So on that, Grant, on that note, Lamar Jackson. Okay, and this is going to come across like a homer take, maybe, I don't know. But if you're being honest, as a fan of the NFL, as somebody, even as anyone who watches football, there is no quarterback on the planet playing like Lamar Jackson is right now. Not even.
No, I mean, but there's nobody on the planet that can do what he does, and that's what people take.
He's executing in every single way he can.
Everything. And what kills me the most is when you have professional athletes that are now analysts, and they're like, he's not a great thrower of the football. That drives me fucking nuts. The touch that man throws, his vision down the field at all three levels, like he throws one of the best deep balls in football. He's got one of the strongest arms in football. He doesn't cut it loose a lot because that's just not the offense that we develop. We're a yak team. And
deep ball completion percentage is a wide receiver, not a quarterback.
It is. And speaking of that, there needs to be a new wide receiver stat that needs to be, if it equates to a drop and it's an interception, it needs to be a wide receiver stat, not a quarterback stat, because it's not Lamar's fault that his guys can't catch the fucking football.
Or you make a separate category for quarterbacks that it's like, turnovers that aren't their fault. Make a new fucking name for that, but something that you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like if Lamar is in shotgun and Linderbaum does that shitty snap and it gets recovered by the defense, that's going to be a fumble on Lamar.
No, that's a fumble on Linderbaum.
I don't think so.
No, you're right. It's a fumble.
If it's a bad snap, it is. If it's a bad snap, but back to Zach Orr, like I think he's fine. Like remember, like Mike McDonald kind of was the same situation. It's when you're so exotic in your play calls and you run a whole bunch of different coverages and different masks, running split coverages on each side of the field. When you're doing all that shit and you're a new coordinator coming in, like there's a lot more that has to go into it. So you're figuring out, okay, am I going field or boundary? Am I going down or distance? Am I +1 on this side? Like, how am I going to send my pressure? Do I need to utilize a stunt on this? Like, I think there's so much that goes on when you're in a complicated type defense where you can use a lot of manipulation tactics. And he's fine. And if you look, it's a lot of like big plays that the call is right, but it's players not making plays.
Yeah,
and that's right, not on Zach Orr.
Marcus Williams is the spot and let somebody get behind. My hope for Zach Orr is next, getting away from using guys like Eddie Jackson and Marcus Williams because they're not good. Like that he starts, messing with the personnel and puts the better guy out there, whether that's a Darius Washington or Braid or whoever the fuck it's going to be. Like that's
I think
evolution.
This is a good comment right here. Zamboni also makes a good point here. Baseball has earned runs. Football should have actual INT versus drop pass.
I guess my whole thing is like, who really cares? Like the defense, we turn the ball over. Like they got the ball. I don't really care who gets charged.
Well, we're in an era where there's cherry picking that happens. So like we were talking about Lamar and how well he's playing. Why is it? I shouldn't even ask a question. But when Lamar is playing like this, people go out of their way to tell you why someone else is playing better. It's fucking crazy. Like if Jaden Daniels had a 4-1 coming in, 5-game stretch where he's playing really well. But you would have thought he had like 15 touchdown passes. His touchdown.
Caleb Williams has more touchdown passes in one game he's got all year. So
Jaden Daniels coming into the game had 4 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions. And they were talking about him as if he wins this game, man, MVP favorite. What are we talking about? Like, and again, I liked Jaden Daniels. He's fucking awesome. I like watching him play. But the way that they were talking about him coming in, they're putting so much behind that. And Lamar has what has he thrown for like 700 plus yards the past 2 weeks and 6 touchdowns?
Yeah, but if you're talking retard on FS1 or ESPN or wherever the fuck you are, like if you build up
Christ,
what
advisors here?
Guy who's tweeting out love letters to Lamar 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he hates him. But anyway, if you're ESPN or FS1 and you got one of these hot take shows, if you build up Jaden Daniels the week before, say, oh, he's an MVP front runner if he beats Lamar, blah, blah, blah. Next great thing, I build my team around him. And then he loses and comes up short. You then have another week of content on the way down of like, yeah, I guess it's soon. And, he's not ready. And,
yeah, but they do that. They do that to every other quarterback. That's my point.
Right, but
if a guy has a 1 or 2 game stretch, they talk about him like he's, fucking Christ or something. And Lamar has been doing this for 6 years, and they talk. They do everything they can to do the opposite. To say like why what he's doing isn't that great. It's fucking crazy to me. It's just like. And obviously, it's like we notice it more because we're Ravens fans, but it just is illogical to me.
Every single person pushing the Lamar can't pass and belittling everything he does are all people who said he should switch to running back when he came out and dropped. Like it's all people who are doubling and tripling down on a bad take rather than just taking it on the chin, moving on. I mean, even Ryan Clark is fucking walk his dumb shit back now, and it's like. It's too late. He's already won 2 MVPs. It's been 7 years. Like, fucking stay in your lane at this. The time to walk it back with Lamar and just kind of admit you were wrong was like 5 years, not now.
Right.
So,
after a unanimous MVP, I think you should probably like stick to other things. If you were shitting on him before that, a lot of people did it. He shut everybody up. He should have anyway. But they still fucking keep going. It's crazy. It's insane.
Well, he was almost a 2-time unanimous. He was 1 vote shy.
Right. And the guy, the one guy, man. I think that guy said
Aaron shots from Football Outsiders, right?
Yes. And he already said right now, if we had to vote on MVP, he would vote for Lamar Jackson. So he's doing exactly what Drew said.
Anybody but Lamar.
Yeah. Agreed. But I believe the betting odds are in favor of Mahomes, which doesn't really matter right now. It's like if you had to vote right now, then those betting odds don't matter. The odds obviously are stretching it out over the full season, so there's projection going on there. But I think, right now it would be unanimous. And if somebody didn't vote for him, they should be like executed on live TV.
Let's get Trevor's thoughts on the game. Trevor, what do you think about it?
Because this man was in person.
Commanders game, right? Yeah, I definitely think that. We definitely saw there that Jaden is still a rookie, right? Like you said, in that 4th down play and like sending the 0 blitz, like I kind of see a little bit where they're coming from because like you want to pressure them and like our pass rush is so good that like you want to like kind of like put hands at least in his face and try to maybe hopefully get a turnover there. But I mean, he was good enough to like perform and complete that 4th down. So like, and when it comes down to like the media, like wanting to put over Jaden, like they ultimately, I feel like they know Lamar is the MVP. And if they don't say that Jaden is as good as they're saying he is, then it's just like, okay, well, he just beat a rookie. So they got to like build this guy up and make it believe like, man, if he beats Lamar, then I think he will be an MVP. Because if they don't say that, then it's just like they're not getting the hype around the game that they want, right? So, and then now, like you said, they have a whole week of content of being like, yeah, maybe he's not ready and all this crap and just the whole like ups and downs of just the media, right?
The media
but I think
become pro wrestling.
Right. And we're drawing tickets.
And manufacturing.
But yeah, you'd be absolutely insane if you said that Lamar Jackson isn't MVP right now for sure. And, the first couple games of the season, we absolutely beat ourselves down. I think the worst thing was us having to play Kansas City and be the very first game that we saw on television because it was so much harder for us and made us seem like we were so bad. But then if you watch the rest of the games that week, we were like, holy shit, the Ravens aren't that bad. We just had so many penalty yards against us. And then that, like you see, the last 4 games, we've really been cutting down those penalties and our guys are executing. Our offense is looking absolutely incredible. I think like the fact that we have 3 tight ends that are absolutely incredible. And then we have, with Keaton coming back, 3 running backs that are going to be absolutely incredible. Then you got Rashad Bateman playing the best he's ever played, being healthy, talking about how great he feels and how good he's playing, and possibly wearing the craziest outfits he's ever wore to the games. And then you got Zay Flowers, who has earned that wide receiver spot. Last year when we got Zay, I was so excited for him to be coming on, and I bought his jersey day one. People were like, "Oh, you better be worried. That's a rookie you're buying a jersey for." But I had so much confidence for Zay, and when they gave him the joystick moniker, I was like, "Holy crap, man! This guy's going to be special." And then we saw all the off-work season that he was doing. Training with like Tyreek Hill and guys like that. Like, I was like, "Man, Zay's going to come back this year and really have a season." And to have such an elite guy like that, and then not even really have to use him as much as we could with having Derrick Henry back there and being able to just run down people's throats. Our offense is definitely capable. When it comes to like our defense, like I don't know if you guys had saw like where John was talking about we run the most like man coverage, so we're leaving a lot of those guys out there like kind of on an island. So then guys are hitting those like fade routes and stuff like that on us. Like I kind of get that. But we definitely, if there's anywhere that we can get some kind of help or some kind of benefits, it's going to be there in our secondary. Like when it comes to the Cowboys games, I'm just going back to everything I kind of heard you guys mention earlier. We knew those guys were going to like score points on us. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is, an elite guy. And then we have a rookie Nate Wiggins going up against him and then being able to get an elite play on him like that. Like, it definitely sucks that our secondary is having those weak moments, but if our offense cannot be stopped, then you know what I mean? Like, I guess I can take a little bit of that every once in a while because then once it gets down deeper into the field and they can't burn us, you know what I mean? Like, we're kind of holding them to field goals.
If it wasn't the same two guys over and over again, I don't care as much. But
right.
It's always Marcus Williams and it's always
and I was going to say, I'm not going to tolerate people having bad things to say about Brandon Stephens unless it's get your head around. Because
turn your damn head around, Brandon Stephens.
This guy on all these catches that are being made on him are fucking incredible catches. Like the touchdown catch that McLaurin had on him, his arm was between McLaurin's arms and his body. McLaurin caught the ball against Brandon Stephens' arm because he never knew where the fucking ball. He never located the ball.
He's always in great position.
He's always so. I think McLaurin, they said he ran 4 routes on Stephens and he caught 3 and he never had more than a half a yard of separation at any point in the route. Yeah, so Stephens is playing unreal tight coverage. He's just not locating the ball.
Turned his head around, he would be better than Grant thinks Sauce Gardner.
You're nuts. Like he would be. I was actually about to bring up a Sauce Gardner comment because we all know Wiggins is a dog. You're big on the Wiggins. You're big on the Wiggins train, but Wiggins is as grabby as Sauce is, and that's one thing that worries me with Wiggins sometimes is he gets really grabby down the field when the ball's
so you
in there.
worry about it with the guy on your team, but you.
No, I'm saying you're being hypocritical about it because that's your biggest insight on Sauce is that you said he holds every play, but Wiggins is getting handsy, but you don't say nothing, right?
I've been very consistent about this. I said the same thing about Will Johnson at Michigan. If you're handsy and grabby and you're on my team, I don't care. If your name is Ahmad Gardner and you played for Cincinnati and people have anointed you the next coming of Christ and you play for the Jets, I hate you.
We're definitely going to have, a test this week coming up. We got Mike Evans and then Chris Godwin. That's going to be, probably our 2 best wide receivers that we're going to have to play for the rest of the season, really. You know what I mean? So, like, hopefully after this game, like, you know what I mean, the wide receiver talent kind of comes down a little bit. And, Nate Wiggins is, first-year rookie going up against the elite of the elite wide receiver. So, if he has to grab and tug a little bit, I'm not too hot about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't.
What are your feelings? What are your feelings on Mike Evans? We have a real big Mike Evans fan on this podcast.
He's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL today.
Yeah, you can't deny that he's a dog. You know what I mean? He's an elite athlete. Right, like he's one of those guys that they can throw the ball up to, and he's going to beat you and grab it and pull it down, right? So hopefully we have somebody that is ready to fucking fight his ass this week, right?
Brandon Stephens is going to be the guy who is tasked with Mike Evans. Brandon Stephens is going to be that guy because he plays so tight.
Ain't gonna be
now.
Sorry, yes.
We just got to watch the slap.
But it makes sense because matchup-wise, you put Wiggins on Godwin, and that's a better matchup-wise because the quickness.
Well, I think and Marlon plays the slot, and Godwin lines up in the slot a lot.
And Arthur's back too, so Arthur will be.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a lot of help.
That'll be huge.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm with it, and like But we were just trolling Trevor because Drew does not like Mike Evans. He thinks Michael Thomas is better, which is the most crazy shit I've ever heard in my life. But we always talk about how 10 straight
Mike
1,000-yard
Evans
seasons.
is
You're a
the
Hall of
Kirk
Famer.
Cousins of wide receivers. Kirk Cousins.
Oh,
of
for
wide
sure.
Receivers.
Before Grant just took over, I was going to ask you, who do you think is better, Mike Evans or Michael Thomas?
I would. Right. Yeah, I think I would probably go Mike Evans on that one, right?
So Trevor, how many?
One's got to play, right? One's got to get on the
Offensive
field.
Player of the years.
One of them has a job.
Yeah, it's like the 1999 Offensive Player of the Year.
Will, just so you know, the Ravens just cut was it Pepe Williams from their practice squad? They now have 2 open spots in their practice squad. When one of them goes to Mike Williams, are you gonna backpedal on all these takes about him?
Mike Williams? No, I'm
Mike
all
Thomas.
about it.
Fuck off. Williams,
Idiot.
Williams is
Hey,
my friend.
he said today he wants Mike Williams from the Jets.
You put too much
so
thought in that letter.
Yeah.
Too much.
It would be a good roster.
That was all ChatGPT. I put the Scarface bad guy speech, a apology letter from a noted racist that we hate, and I forget what else I put in there, and then I gave like a general context of what happened.
The Conor
McGregor thing. So I didn't write that. I just wrote it out by hand. That's the most I've written in probably 10 years, but because computers exist.
Mike Williams, Marcus Williams, Brandon Williams, same difference.
Yeah, they're all the same person anyway. Can you put the comment from Killer on the screen for a second where he says,
let me go back and look.
Where he says hang the MVP banner? I'll give you guys 3 guesses of what team he's a fan of. Don't all jump at
Patriots.
Which one are you? What is Killer Kowalski? What the fuck is that?
Just have you not seen Madagascar?
There it is.
Penguins.
I did not see that one.
Masquerading as this, but if you had to take a guess what team he's a fan of, what do you think it is?
Patriots.
Zamboni nailed it, and just Zamboni and just a bit outside. He's a Bengals. Talking about hanging.
Oh, okay.
Well, just so you're aware, Drew, this one came from that bald fuck Tom.
Imagine thinking MVP means anything.
He also said Drake May's better.
Yeah.
He also. I didn't see
that.
I saw him. Got fucking routed at home by CJ Stroud. He's not. He's worried for Drake May's life because their offense. I understand where he's coming from.
Learn how to kick a field goal, Charlie Brown.
This is a new territory for doesn't really know how to deal with like a bad football team. So, he had 20 years. He sold the soul of the devil.
No end in sight. No end in sight.
Yeah.
They're like back to being like the pathetic 80s.
Yep.
At this point.
Back when they had the Pat the Patriot logo, which they should go back to.
Tom
Flying Elvis sucks.
He was in his 20s at that point, so he remembers all those terrible years in the 80s for them.
Getting embarrassed by the Bears in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's always Bengals that have something dumb to say, or Bills fans talking about hanging banners. Like, you guys don't have any banners, so fuck off.
They have AFC Championship rings, incest, and chili spaghetti in their bloodstream. Their words are not meant to be taken seriously at all.
Killer Kowalski is not from Cincinnati, for the record. He's a Canadian, which makes it even worse.
Oh, that's
okay.
Way worse.
So he commits those acts in Canada, where they have those faces that just go up and down. It's like Terrence and Phillip.
Yeah, I really don't know why he did, but it's sad. I feel bad for him. I feel like he was introduced to American football and for some reason stuck with the Bengals, and it was a very bad life.
My guess he's trying to be Oedipus.
I hope it's
I do have a question for Trevor, because all of us here normally we go back and forth on the offensive line. What are your thoughts on the current offensive line situation, Trevor?
I like.
Oh, we lost. Looks like we lost Jake, and Trevor may have lost her.
So Trippy, I got an offensive for you since you're there. What are the vibes like of the offensive line?
Trevor's back.
We got him back. We got them both back.
It looked good for real. I still think Patrick McCarr, he be out there struggling a little bit, but right now let's just go with the offensive.
What's their confidence though? Like walking into the game, they kind of got a little swagger now, or
one. I ain't gonna lie. The only one I see got some swagger, look like he ready to go out there and mollywop some shit is Roger. Roger just got this. He got this swag to him. Yeah, he got that look too, but I like what the offensive line doing so far. I feel like we should just roll what we got right now.
I hope we're ready to pull the trigger on putting Voorhees back in at left guard if Macari struggles to the point where it negatively affects the game. And the same thing with right guard is that you're ready to make the switch to Cleveland if Falele falls off again.
But I don't think Falele gonna fall off though.
No,
Right.
I agree with you, Trippy. He's been getting better every game, but no, the approach to offensive line needs to be Makari and Falele right now. The offensive line is performing at the level we want. Like, we're running the ball down people's throats.
Right.
We're barely getting sacked. We're executing our offense exactly the way we want it. So until either one of those guys shows any weakness, you leave them in because they're confident. The whole unit is cohesive and confident together. So don't fuck with it.
Right. Lamar's had 700 passing yards, in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
On top of our running game still being the number one. Like, I feel like what we figured out with the offensive line right now is definitely where we should keep it. Like we said, unless there's errors that are coming up. But, this week also as well will be another big chance for the best kind of defensive tackles that we're going against. So, like, this will be able to tell if, like, this is our lineup coming up.
Yeah, is Vea going to demolish Makari or fully kind of, keep doing what they've been doing? So,
Right.
To see.
Well, and that's like we were
imagine
talking about, and we were talking about a little bit earlier in our other chat. But like, my thing is like, I don't want it to be as like, oh man, fuck Falele. But I think if we're putting our best people out there, I think Ben Cleveland gives us one of our best chances. Now, what Falele does, and the reason why, is he's not a guard. Like, he doesn't have the feet for a guard. He just gets in the way, and that's a good thing about most teams run to the right side. So he just is kind of like, if we do a lot of zone running, he just tunnels and gets into a space. He doesn't have to have a responsibility to climb to the next level or gap down or anything like that necessarily. He just kind of falls on people. But with what we need to do and get to the next level, a lot of times, I just think I don't know what the whole Ben Cleveland thing is. It doesn't make sense because when I watched him at the end of the year last year, we were all on here like, who the hell is this guy? Like, he was on the left side all this time. They moved him to the right, and he was graded out the best right guard, the last 3 games of the season. And I think that you have to give that an opportunity. When he came out and said, oh, didn't get many snaps at right guard in training camp, like, that's weird to me.
Grant, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something about that grade, right? And I make fun of PFF grades. And
I mean, I do too, but I think that it means something.
I'm kind of about to right now. So do you think maybe playing next to Tyler Linderbaum consistently is just a recipe for success for the right guard? Like,
not only that, but I think that a lot of the progress that we've seen with the offensive line, especially on the right side, isn't necessarily now. Falele has been playing better, but that's not saying much because
switch to Rosengard.
Terrible. Since that switch, Rosengard's so athletic on the right side, on the outside, that he can do a lot of things that not a lot of tackles can do with that type of mobility. And he's smart too. And then you have Linderbaum, we all know what he's capable of. And, he's arguably the best center in the NFL right now. So when you sandwich him between those two and you just have a big-ass body in there just to kind of get in the way, you can do a lot more. But like I said, he has progressed. But as bad as he played the first couple games, I think the only way for him was up. Now it's to see what he can do consistently moving forward.
Yeah, so I just wonder if Falele looked worse than he really was. Now, I know you're going to come back with, like, you're looking at his fucking footwork and all that, whatever. I'm just saying what the plays that people point to
was an issue.
That's what I'm getting at is
I agree with that.
Makari, where he's got former All-Pro Ronnie Stanley on his left, current All-Pro level player Tyler Linderbaum on his right, you can hide Makari a little bit more. And Makari's, his skill set is going to shine more where he's not not the tone setter, So
and like I'm saying that Falele is not a guard, Makari's not a tackle. Makari's an interior offensive lineman, so when you put him on the outside, you're exposing him, and it's just not his strength.
Right. So I don't know. I just don't know that. Like, there was a lot of focus after week 1 on Falele, and I feel like people have hung on to it.
It wasn't just him.
Well, but I'm saying people specifically have hung on to that about Falele. And I don't know that it's as warranted. Well, it's not as warranted, but I don't know that it's warranted at all right now because they're playing well. He's the only guy this past game, by the way, who did not have a QB pressure credited to him. So, like, he's playing really well. And like I just made the point about Lamar. Okay, everybody shit on him after week 1. He had some really, really bad reps on tape. Now we're getting these reps of him fucking, like, whether it be last week where he literally tripped and fell but fucking blew up a defender. This week, he was downfield a couple times. he came out and absolutely fucking vaporized a defensive back on a pole. So like, let's give him some credit because we shit on him after week 1. Let's give him some credit. The guy has earned credit.
So
right. Guys play better.
When you say give him credit, he's doing what he's supposed to.
No, but
so like
it needs okay. It's just like you got to be as loud when you praise as when you criticize. You can't just shit on this guy.
What I'm saying is that I feel like the difference between now and week 1 is that Monken has now started at guard for 5 games and has figured out what he can and can't do and is using him more effectively.
Right.
And so credit to Todd. He's taken what is given to him and making it work with the play calls. I feel like he was, Todd came out the first 2 weeks specifically and was just calling the game he wanted to with no regard for what his personnel was. And he's kind of now switched to this,
Greg Roman right there. Yeah, he was doing that.
He's game planning around who he's actually got on the field, and he's maximizing their strengths. And so it makes Flaley look good. And again,
what he did at Georgia and with all his other teams as OC.
Yeah, is that he knows, he's good at figuring out what he has and how to use it. I'm glad it's working for Flaley. I'm glad he, growing in his role. If he starts to fall off a cliff again, I would have no hesitation in Cleveland.
Same.
We don't have to do that yet.
I do not give a fuck who's in the game. I don't care.
Real quick, what was your points there, Trevor, that you were trying to get in?
Oh, I was just going to say, the guys, they play a lot better when they're winning, right? So like they're having progression, they're having success with this stuff. So that, they're going to be more confident in those roles. They're going to play a lot stronger. And like you said, he's sandwiched between Rosengarten, who's playing incredible for a rookie, and then Linderbaum, who's incredible. So like sometimes you really do just need that key piece of just like you said, just a big guy to just kind of block the role there. And then one thing that we're not really accrediting for too is we're using Patrick Ricard a lot more. We're using the double tight end setup to like kind of help with a lot of these blocking plays. So, we're using, 6 guys to do these blocking. So it's relieving a lot of stress on those guys as well. So, I'm very interested to see what's going forward. And talking about the Todd Monken, like for his game plan, that you got to bring something when you're playing the Chiefs week 1, Super Bowl champs, like you got to like at least try to bring something out there. And I also believe that, we didn't bring our full game plan for that game because, we expect to play them later in the season and, kind of bring out all the tricks and stops. So, I really believe that the offensive line has kind of figured something out. But it is great to have a Ben Cleveland as a backup guy. Like if that's our guy that we have as like a backup, then like I'm very happy with that. Just in case we have someone that goes down or whatever, and we see like Ben Cleveland wanting to play special teams and wanting to get himself out there, that's going to only earn coach's trust and get him better spots.
What an asshole move by Harbaugh, by the way. I can credit for that block.
Yeah, that was fucking.
I thought it was fucking hilarious. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
It was such a Harbaugh thing, though.
Yeah, but again, you go in front of the media like 3 weeks ago, and you're like, "Oh yeah, Ben sucks. He doesn't try and practice and hasn't shown me anything." And then he finally does something on the field, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that was my."
All right, so let me just throw this out there. Ben Cleveland is like have you looked at his fucking Twitter?
He's a moron.
He posts pictures of like dirt in the bed of his truck and shit. Like he is just like a fucking guy.
He's a true country boy, man.
He is. So like I honestly I kind of feel like maybe John saying that was like I think that maybe speaks to Ben Cleveland. Like that maybe that motivated him. Maybe that that got through to him. And like John going out there and saying he's taking credit for Ben Cleveland blocking a kick is I bet Ben Cleveland and John Harbaugh are like they have dinner together on Sunday nights. Like
hold on.
It would not surprise me at all.
Ben Cleveland doesn't eat dinner on Sunday nights. He goes out and fucking kills squirrels in his backyard and like.
He kills Ben. He kills them in John Harbaugh's backyard, and then he brings them in and they eat them for dinner.
Maybe.
I already talked to Ben. I said, "Hey Ben, if you got a problem with John Harbaugh, tell him Trippy want to have a talk with him." And ever since that, I guess he's been getting a little active though. But I mean, we'll see though, man. Like Trevor said, it's a good thing we got him as a backup though, so that's still cool. But I mean, I like to see Ben Cleveland experience.
No, I like that Ben Cleveland was like, "Hey, let me get on that field goal block team.
I
Big
feel like
country.
Trippy is like I don't know, like the vibes whisperer for the team. Like he just pulls these guys aside and has a little conversation with them, and it turns into some
But hey, Grant, don't you think that maybe Ben Cleveland got called out by John Harbaugh publicly a few weeks ago, and then next thing you know, he's requesting to be on the fucking field goal team and blocks a kick?
Well, there is no shot.
Bullying works.
What's the way to John Harbaugh's heart? Special teams.
Right. So Ben
We need
Cleveland
something in our special
he
teams.
heard the message loud and clear.
Yeah, right.
He heard the message loud and clear.
Way too much faith in Ben Cleveland's mental aptitude. There is none.
Listen, it all adds up. This all adds up.
Hide the squirrels. I mean, no disrespect to him. Again, Rosengarten gives me the same vibes. Just a moron with no doesn't care about his body. Just wants to. And so, I mean, maybe John Harbaugh channeled that into, hey, I want things on offense, so you can go play special teams and people.
After I saw him do that, I was like, maybe we should use him in on 3 snaps a game. Put him in as a defensive end.
Why not?
I was gonna say, is he a D tackle?
Fuck it. I mean, Travis Jones.
He's basically Calais Campbell with zero technique, but he's the same size as Calais Campbell.
If you say go
Basically
hit that, I guarantee you he goes and hits
do
that
a
guy.
flip flop with how we did with Pat Ricard.
Right.
I mean Travis Jones can't play every snap, so I'm okay with giving Ben a couple snaps there.
What a season Travis Jones has had this season too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
he came out of UConn, so I grew up in kids, so I have friends back. I have one specific friend who's a huge UConn fan. He's like, this kid's going to be a fucking problem, and was not lying. I don't know how he felt, so thank fucking God he did. He is an issue.
I think that's
he's a number
another thing,
98 on the
too.
defensive line that plays well, unlike Grant's friend Brandon Ward.
Paperweight. But I think that a lot of things with that
white
help
pants
that too,
brethren
because Travis
big on
Jones
him,
is a
too.
stud, but Travis Jones is playing out of his mind. But a lot of that too has to do with Benabike being so dominant that he's getting nothing but double teams.
Oh, for sure.
You got to
It's the Aaron Donald effect. It's the same. And credit to Spencer. Credit to Spencer because he's the first one who made that comparison, and everyone killed him for it.
Everyone thought he was nuts for it.
It is so funny how that is the most perfect comparison ever made, and everybody wanted to kill him.
Oh my God! And there may have been one person on the podcast right now who was on that train, and I think me and you, Drew, were like, it's a valid take. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a dumb guy. I find people who watch clips on the internet and try to pretend that they know exactly what's happening to be exhausting. But Spencer knows his shit, so I'm not gonna if he wants to come up with a comparison like that, go for it.
All he said was that they trained together. That Matabike emulates him and how he trains and how he develops himself, and that he was baby Aaron Donald. He didn't say he was Aaron Donald. He was baby Aaron Donald.
I mean, also it doesn't hurt that a certain clan member that we all dislike, immediately jumped on that and went the opposite
that's
direction.
really why we jumped so hard on Spencer's
The
side
other
of that.
direction. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, she could tweet the sky is blue, and I'm gonna be like, no, it's not. It's a different color.
Hey, by the way, Grant's got his old grandpa glasses on. I think
he does.
Yeah, Grant.
Oh, they were blending into your background.
Yeah, they're in honor of Todd Monken.
Yeah, your whole head is basically your head's just head brick
floating.
Grant thinking that Todd Monken, 143 years old when we hired him, is still one of the funniest things that ever happened.
I did.
All right, so I think we should probably move into talking about the Buccaneers, right?
Yeah. I want to say something off color.
Oh boy.
Hurricane Milton was supposed to go through and destroy Tampa. I feel like we're going to actually. So
Hurricane Derek is gonna destroy.
Yeah. Hurricane Derek's going to show up and just fucking wreak havoc on them. So
Hurricane Lamar.
Yeah, Hurricane
Derek.
It's a good thing that the Bucks Pirate Ship Stadium doesn't have a roof because they'd have 2 buildings that need $100 million repairs.
Imagine paying to repair the Trop. That is maybe the worst sports venue of all time. I would just be like, okay, this is a sign we should never play here again.
Hey, in unrelated news, I just want to
Jose Romero just
mention this that Wander Franco's contract was $182 million.
Wander Franco also grooms 13-year-olds.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is the Rays have the money to cover because they don't have to pay that guy.
They still paid a pedophile. People forget.
They did.
They try to make a pedophile the face of their franchise. This is what happens. Hurricane Milton is karma. And then the damage we're going to do in Tampa is the follow-up. I mean, honestly, nothing about the Bucks. Baker Mayfield, like, fucking dork. I'm going to tweet that gif of him getting tackled by cops at 20 times this week.
Oh, Max has requested that Trevor does like a full-on pro wrestling promo on Baker Mayfield, so we can clip that and put that out. So that's coming.
The producer has requested this. We'll
the producer
channel that before we get out of here. We'll do our game picks and everything, and then Trevor, you're gonna have the floor to heel talk Baker Mayfield because we are the bad guys coming to ruin their fucking night.
In all honesty, there's no aspect of the Bucks that scares me the slightest. They have Godwin. They have. I don't think that they're going to put up enough points to keep up with us offensively. I mean, Derrick Henry is on pace for like 2,000 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like nobody's stopping him. So like I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the show offensively. Lamar's putting up MP stats passing the ball, and that's just like doesn't even matter because Derrick Henry's just fucking killing other teams. And then it's Baker Mayfield. I'm not worried about it. And maybe I'm getting a little too cocky after 4 wins in a row, but I am not at all. I'm getting back into last year. We would pick them to win every week. And that retard kid, Ricky Bobby, would tweet me every week, be like, "Oh, you're a dumb homer." That's how I'm feeling. Vibes are good. 0-2 is bad. And back.
There's no reason to not pick the Ravens every week. I mean, like,
it's
over
just the
course of Lamar's career, they've won
of the
70% of the games, 70+% of the game. So, like, yeah, you'd be stupid not to pick them.
It's the way we're running them. Just
100%.
Everybody knows.
I'm very confident.
They can't do shit about it.
Yeah. No. Now, I was like, Baker Mayfield. I'm confident playing against Baker Mayfield because the Ravens have seen him many times, and the Ravens have. But that being said, Baker Mayfield is good.
He's playing very well in that offense being run by Liam Cohen.
Yeah,
and he played well last year too. He is good. So
he's fine. He is.
I'm not
Trevor
saying
Lawrence.
that to say I'm scared of him. I'm just we know how to handle him, but he is good. Just to be clear,
he is Trevor Lawrence. He's Kirk Cousins. He's any of these guys that
he's better than Trevor Lawrence.
He's really not,
easily
because we proved last year that you hit Trevor Lawrence, he's a different guy, and I think Baker Mayfield's the same thing. You hit Baker Mayfield enough times, he's going to panic. He's going to throw the ball in the coverage. He'll be afraid to get hit, and he's going to make stupid reads. And like that's what all of these, when you look at people who do like top 10 quarterback rankings, like the first 6-7 guys, whatever, on a given year are like, okay, yeah, that guy's, and then it's like 8 through 10 is who's the hot hand right now. It was like Geno Smith a couple years ago. People are going to throw, I don't even fucking know, like Sam Darnold in there this year. They're all the same. You put pressure in their fucking face. They don't know what to do, and they make stupid reads because of it. And that's what Baker Mayfield falls into, is that he's got a great supporting cast. Bucky Irving looks good. Rashad White's fine. He's not really running the ball that much. But again, like, they got a decent backfield, but they got Chris Godwin and Mike Evans on the outside. But like, you hit Baker Mayfield enough times, he's going to make dumb plays. And we're going to win because of that.
Well, and also, you can't run on the Ravens. The secondary
not this year.
They're very good against the run.
We're only allowing 3 yards per carry, and that's by far the best in the NFL right now. There's only 5 teams averaging less than 4 yards a carry defensively, and we are by far the top. We're a full yard under that average. That's balling. The Bucks are giving about 4.7 yards on the ground. That's bad. That's very bad. That's very generous.
Combined very bad with the best running team in the NFL.
They're giving up
without a question
4.7 yards a carry, and they haven't seen Lamar and Derrick Henry yet. So.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Like,
now, on the other side of things, they can't run the ball. I mean, they could try. It's not going to work. So they're going to have to just go straight Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. And that's where the problem is, because, like, okay, our cornerbacks could easily have trouble with those two receivers, but for the fact that Baker Mayfield, we've seen him so many times.
He's got that idiot Brett Favre streaking.
Yeah,
you put enough pressure on his face, he's going to be like, fuck it, Mike Evans is over there somewhere, and maybe this time we'll come down to it. You know what I mean?
And as much as we're he is scared of the Ravens. He's been dominated by the Ravens so many times. He's made so many stupid fucking plays against the Ravens over the years. Like, you think back and I understand like people are saying
CJ
that's
Mosley pick
that was Cleveland. That was Cleveland. Dude, so many times. Like I think it was even in the remember that like I think it was the first game of the season in 2020.
Yes, it was the pandemic year.
I think it was his first throw. Was like he tried to throw a screen pass and it was an interception. Like the guy
the only win I remember him having one where Nick Chubb ran wild on him. So
right, he ran for like 200 yards.
I think Baker Mayfield threw for like 130 yards that game, so it wasn't even like a Baker Mayfield game.
Correct.
So again, maybe I'm not maybe this is like a mental trap game for me, but just nothing the Bucs do scare at all. Like there is nothing there that I'm like, maybe Mike Evans or Chris Godwin's going to rip off a long catch because Marcus Williams is a moron and can't cover, or for some reason Roquan's one-on-one with them over the middle and they get a big play out of it. So fucking what? Like they're not going to be able to put together sustained scoring drives against us. Again,
the Bucs
Baker
are the
Mayfield,
Commanders.
Yeah, again, they're an NFC team that's playing well, and we're going to prove to the world why they treated the way that they are.
Okay, just a reminder. At this point now,
he's 22-1 against NFC competition, if I remember right?
21-1 or 22-1. The only loss was to the
Giants, the fucking Giants.
The Giants, the 2022.
And they had a former Ravens assistant on there. So
2022 Giants, yeah. And it was one of those dumbass games where we gave up a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. I'm pretty sure. So
it was.
Mark Andrews dropped the ball in the end zone, and then shit went south.
Yep, the all whites.
Yeah,
imagine that. So the NFC thing is real. They don't. Everyone talks about this matches up. This is bad. No, they haven't seen. They don't see Lamar. It's not the same. You cannot replicate Lamar Jackson in practice. There is the only reason that teams like Kansas City, Buffalo, the Steelers play the Ravens tight every single time or have a winning record against the Lamar-led Ravens is because they've seen him so many times in a game. That's it.
I mean, I know this sounds like cliche. The NFC is just not as good as the AFC. It's really what it boils down to. You're not playing superstar quarterbacks in the NFC. There really isn't. I mean, people are talking about Caleb Williams might be a top 5 quarterback in the NFC, and I'm not sure they're wrong because who the fuck else is in the NFC?
Right.
There's no teams over in the NFC that are, a legitimate threat. There is Patrick Mahomes, and like it doesn't matter what Lamar does, he can't counteract Patrick Mahomes. And, it doesn't matter what Lamar does. Like Josh Allen is still good at football and can still beat you no matter what Lamar does. And, when the Bengals were humming a couple of years ago and they had, Chase and Higgins and Mixon going on tears, like that neutralizes. There's no team in the NFC that has that kind of offensive attack that can neutralize Lamar. It's really the problem. And so like we're thinking, you're thinking about like Chris Godwin and Mike Evans could be a problem for our secondary. I mean, the game could be 21-0 after 3 drives, and then them ripping off big play doesn't. So that's just kind of how I'm for our schedule at this point. Is that other than when we play the Steelers, it doesn't matter if 0-6 we're playing the Steelers and they're 16-0. Like that's going to be a game just because it's a rivalry game. But there's no NFC.
Agreed.
There shouldn't be. The results speak for themselves. The only time that we've lost to an NFC opponent with Lamar under center, they had a former Ravens assistant who knew John Harbaugh. There isn't one on that Bucs staff. So there you go.
Nope.
Like they might put up some points. I don't think it'll be enough to win. But
I feel like that was
out in Tampa.
Oh
no.
No, you're not. I know you were talking about.
Yeah, I'll be there on Monday. I'll be there in Tampa.
No.
Oh shit!
you're
Gonna
going,
check
Trevor?
in.
Oh shit! There you go.
I've never been to a Tampa, but I feel like that would be a fun place to go.
That's on the list for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun
James
stadium.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it
fun.
was the site of our first Super Bowl victory, so there is that. But anyway, y'all want to get into jersey picks and scores?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, this week we haven't worn white jerseys and black pants this season, and I don't think we're going to wear white jerseys and black pants this week. I'm going to throw back to week 5. I think we go white purple, and I'm going 37-24 Ravens. I can see the Bucs scoring garbage time. I mean, they're tied with the commies for most points scored in the league this year. Again, that was because of that bullshit because the Saints defense is hilariously bad. So, I mean, there's that.
It's like when Miami put up 70 points on the Broncos last year. It's like, oh, their offense is great. Look at how many points a game they score. And it's like there was an anomaly in there. So
You say 37-24?
37-24.
Okay.
Yep.
Grant, what's your score prediction?
All right. Jersey wise, I think we do go white on black this week. Score wise, I think if we play our game defensively, I could see like what Drew said, we could jump out big early and then, some points are scored in the second half. I'd like to see Zay Flowers utilized in the second half this time, especially he's got 9 for 132 in the first half. Don't know how he doesn't get a catch the whole second half. Don't face him out of the game plan. Stick
9
to
of
it.
9.
Yeah, 9 of 9. Didn't get a target at all the whole second half. Weird to me. But you keep utilizing him. Buccaneers defense is very susceptible. I think we run wild on them. But we do need to get the passing game involved because even though we can run wild on them, this is a game where we just need to keep honing in the chemistry and the timing and all that, spacing on the routes, like all the little things that we need that we're going to have to solidify before we have to go play like a formidable defense. I think it's going to be 27-17.
All right. We lose Trippy?
Yeah, we lost Trippy there and I'm not seeing him behind the scenes.
All right, BG, give us your score.
I'm going to go, as far as jersey pants goes, I'm going to second Grant here. I'm going to go with white and black. They haven't done it this year yet, and it's due time. As far as score goes, I'm going to just kind of wing it here and say 32-24.
Trevor, you want to give us your
32 feels like a weird number.
Will wants me to be a football number. 43 is still not a football number, Will.
It's 32.
I've had multiple experts weigh in and say that you're just out of your mind for saying that 43 is a football number.
Listen, I said the number, and it was late in the show. It was late in the show, and then I just had to defend it.
It's just not a football number. So you agree it's not a football number.
It's not a common football number.
I don't regret it, but it's not a common number.
If I picked 43 as a point scored for the Ravens, I would be embarrassed. I think you should too.
I mean, I wasn't embarrassed at all. But
you should,
32 is a strange number. 31, 34, 33.
Yeah, I'm not loving the Marcus Williams number. I'm not loving 32, BT. Not going to lie. Not a football number, and Marcus Williams.
Trippy's back.
Yeah, Trippy, I want your uniform combo and score before you disappear again.
See you live.
Trippy, did you go? Are you pass out?
Trippy, bark twice if you're in Milwaukee. All right, Trevor.
All right, well,
Trevor, just your score prediction and jersey combo prediction.
So I haven't heard this combo yet, but I think it'd be really clean if we had the white on white. I think we're coming in, we're playing so clean.
Let's
look good.
We are anti-white in this podcast.
It has a losing record all time with Lamar.
Well, that's all we need. We need to change it around. This whole season's about changing everything around, right? If we do like we've done before, then we're not making it to the Super Bowl. We got to do something different this year. We got to change stuff around. It's revenge season, all right? So we got to win with some white pants on. We got to win with the white pants on and make it to the Super Bowl. That's my prediction. But as far as the game, like I said, I'm going to be there, so I want to see as many points as possible from Lamar. So I'm going 42-27, and I hope there's at least 3 passing touchdowns, and then Derrick Henry gets his touchdown to keep the record going.
I like it. All right. I'm going 35-7 to the score and white on black for the jersey combo. I was going to pick white on black, but the fact that we've not yet this year just, kind of solidifies that.
Did you say white, purple?
White on black.
He said white, black.
What? White on black. Okay.
So we've got 3 white on blacks.
I just want the record to be known. I have not been wrong on a jersey combo yet this year. So again, noted uniform expert Will has been wrong multiple times. I have not. 35 is a football number.
Okay.
17
Once
is
again,
a football number.
I'm not a predictor of future events. I'm a keeper of past events.
You have
present
data.
An
explanation every episode.
How do you tell the future?
It's a recurring bit.
It's just giving non-football numbers, not picking the right jersey combos.
Trippy, you awake still?
Yeah.
There
I got 2. I'm gonna go with 2 combos. White tops or either black pants or purple pants.
That's against the spirit of what we're doing here.
Trippy, hold on.
You can't just pick multiple pants, man. You gotta commit.
Which one?
Trippy, let me sell you on one of these. I picked white and black, so I need you to pick white and purple so that we can continue the streak of being right over Will. Because Will's only going to pick one of those combos, so then we can still, say that you and I were right and Will was wrong. If you go white, purple.
All right, I'm gonna go white purple.
go.
Score Ravens 38, Bucks 24.
There, with similar mind frames. I got you, dog.
All right, I'm so
Derrick Henry anytime. Derrick Henry
you were
first time
wrong.
touchdown.
You're wrong, Drew.
What do you mean I'm wrong?
You went white black, didn't you?
Against everything that I stand for, I think they're going to wear white on Monday Night Football.
I can see that. I don't like it, but I can see it.
We got a double case of the TD Hunters here tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm predicting they're going to wear white, but I don't want them to. I'm happy to be wrong, but I think they're going to wear white. And my score prediction's 38-20. So a bunch of us are in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a perfect game of, 30-plus points. I guess it kind of depends on how it goes early. If they're going to be 35, 38, 40, somewhere in that range, all makes sense to
Definitely
me.
not 32.
Definitely not 32. I put a lot of money on the Ravens not scoring 32 points.
Okay.
The odds on that are minus 5 billion. They will not score 32.
I was just thinking, too, do we have to rebrand from Zone 32 podcast because of Marcus Williams?
No, because this predates Marcus Williams.
Trippy said he's got till November 3rd, so he's got till November 3rd. What's November 3rd?
That's the next home game.
Yep. Broncos.
Okay. Right, perfect. That makes sense.
So what Trippy's saying is November 3rd, when Marcus Williams walks in, he's going to get in his ear, and then Marcus Williams is going to have like 3 picks to make us all look dumb.
Pretty much.
I'll tell you how he catches 3 interceptions in the game. He needs to be fired into the sun. Fire him into the sun, because we said the same thing about Daniel Falele. Once he did that, he started playing better.
I have a tweet in my drafts offering $1 million to fire Marcus Williams in the sun. So
do it. Might get him to play better. Hell, fire Doug Mallory into the sun, the new DB coach, because I blame him for the overall secondary.
No, see, I like Doug Mallory, a drunk guy that I would hang out at the bar. Like when we hired him, DUI mugshot was his headshot for the announcement. So
I'm about to go find that.
I'm a fan of him. He was also a Michigan, so that's part of why I like. Not a Michigan. All right,
that's fair. Well, before we get out of here, Trevor.
I feel like we need Trevor to give us a nice promo on Baker Mayfield.
Yep. Cut a heel promo.
When you want me to start? Anytime?
I think this is a face promo.
When you're ready. Oh, fuck that. We're the bad guys. Let's go beat their asses. Fuck the
Baker Mayfield, let me talk to you, brother. When Monday Night Football comes rolling around, you're going to wish you were on Undercover with Eli Manning. But unfortunately for you, everybody's going to know it's you. Baker, you've been throwing shade at Tom Brady. That's fine, because Lamar Jackson's going to be throwing fades to Zay, baby. And don't even worry, because when the king comes busting through that A-gap, the whole Buccaneers thing's going to be running away. They going to start firing the cannons for us, Baker, because the flock's coming to Tampa, and when those dark clouds start to roll in, that's when the Pirates go back down under and try to tuck themselves into the sheets. Baker Mayfield, we're coming! Ravens by $1 million!
I dig it.
I like it.
My man, that was fucking perfect. The consummate professional. But anyway, that's going to do it for this week's installment. I cleared my throat too early, but that's fine. We will be back next week to discuss this, that, and the other with another special guest who's making her annual appearance to talk Ravens-Browns. A little sneak peek for you. But meanwhile, it's time for me to die.
See ya!
Zone 32.